Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome all viewers. Welcome to the live stream. Today we will be learning how to read Arabic letters. Please let me know if you are in the chat where you are joining us from. One of the reasons I wanted to specifically go live about this topic was because, Allahumma barak, there was a video that got a lot of views on Facebook about reading Arabic. So it seemed like there is a high demand for people to learn. So I wanted to take advantage of that. I think I got a few new 1,000 followers on Facebook when I posted this video. It seems like there are quite a few people on Facebook, at least, interested in learning how to read Arabic. So I wanted to go live. I apologize if you are watching this after going live, if it's not a good time for you, but inshallah, hopefully we can get some people in here. Alhamdulillah, we got some people joining us now from Somalia. Thank you for joining us. Hello, wa alaikum assalam. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. India, West Bengal. Nice to meet all of you. Thank you for joining us. So I think what I'll do as we let more people hopefully join, hopefully we can get more people in here. I'm going to play the video. This is at I think like 270,000 views on Facebook. This is the video here. And this will be a good way to begin because basically I just break down how easy it is to learn how to read Arabic. It's not difficult, inshallah. Anyone who really tries can definitely do it. When it comes to English letters, which letter is this?
B.
Yes, this is the letter B. What sound does the letter B make?
B.
B. Very good. In Arabic, we have this letter, this symbol, which represents the same kind of sound. This is called the letter ba. In English, what letter is this?
A.
A. What sound does the letter A represent?
A.
Ah, very good. Now in Arabic, there's a symbol that we write above letters that also represents the same sort of sound. This is called a fatha. So when we have a B and an A, it sounds like
Ba.
ba. Very good. So when you have a ba and a fatha, it sounds like
Ba.
very good. So just like you can read this with a little bit of memorization and practice, you can also read this in Arabic. That's all that learning how to read Arabic entails. You just memorize which symbols represent which sounds and you practice. So that is all it takes to learn how to read Arabic. And alhamdulillah, I have this book, which is filled with exercises that are just similar to that video, where I just show you each symbol and I show you the sound it represents. And then I have exercises which help you practice. And the more you practice, the faster you are going to learn how to read. It's really as simple as that. Alhamdulillah, let me go back to the chat, see who else we have joining us. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh from Senegal. Thank you for joining us. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Indonesia, may Allah accept from us and make these gatherings beneficial. Egypt, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah bless all of you. Sierra Leone, West Africa, mashallah, Bangladesh, Indonesia. That's right. Ba, bih, boo. That's what we're going to be doing today, inshallah. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullahu khairan for your kind words and for getting the book. May Allah make it beneficial. All right, so we have about 43 people joining us right now. Are any of you in the process of trying to learn how to read Arabic? Please press 1 in the chat if you are currently want to learn how to read Arabic. I know some of you are Arabs from Arab countries, so I'm sure you already know how to read Arabic. But if we can get some people in the chat that are trying to learn how to read, then that'll be great. Alhamdulillah, 1 is sufficient, inshallah. Hopefully we can get some more, but alhamdulillah, perfect. Okay, so we got some people. This is perfect. Okay, so alhamdulillah. Okay, more people are coming in, mashallah. All right, so let's get right into it. This is basically how this book teaches you how to read Arabic. Let's see. Just share my screen real quick. This is lesson 1. So this workbook, it has 20 lessons. If you go through the 20 lessons and you do the exercises and you practice, you'll know how to read Arabic. So let's start with lesson 1. And some of you may have already learned these things, but I find that many students, even if they've already learned some of these letters and sounds, it's important to practice because maybe you learned them before, but just like in English, the more you read, the faster you're going to read, the better you're going to read. So same with Arabic. So practicing definitely is important. So lesson 1. In this lesson, we learn one letter and 3 symbols. The letter we learn is ba, the letter ba. Okay, this right here, this is the letter ba. And we learned that in the video that we showed. The letter ba, it sounds similar to the English B. Okay, so when we go through these exercises, we're going to write the transliteration. We're going to write a B for the letter ba. So it's important to put that together. And eventually, you are going to progress to the point where you don't need to think about the English B. You're just going to know this is a ba, and you're going to know what sound it makes. But it's important to take baby steps. That's what I do whenever I teach anything related to Arabic. I take it one baby step at a time. So otherwise, it can be very overwhelming and people give up and they get frustrated. I make it very easy, inshallah. All right, so this is the letter that we're learning. This is the letter ba. Sounds like the English B. And then the 3 symbols we learn are called harakat. Okay, they're called harakat. And it's important for you to also memorize these vocabulary words. Okay, it's important to know what a harakat is. Okay, these are harakat. Harakat is the plural. Singular is harakat. Because sometimes people, they can read, but they might forget what they're called. Okay, so the 3 symbols we learn are called harakat, and they are, number 1, the fatha. The fatha, it's just one little slanted line that's going to be written above the letter. And it sounds like the English A, like in path, ah. So every time we come across a fatha, we're going to write an A. Then we have the kasra, which is a slanted line written underneath the letter, like this. And this sounds similar to the English I, like in tin, I, I. Okay, so we have a, I, and then we have the dhamma, which looks like this. This is a unique shape we have here, a little loop. And this is going to sound like the English U, like in blue, oo. Okay, so we have the fatha, the kasra, and the dhamma. The fatha is a line written above. It sounds like the letter A. The kasra is a line written underneath. It sounds like the English I, like in tin, I. The dhamma, it is a loop written above. Sounds like the English U, like in blue, oo. So we have I, oo. All right, now a very important part of learning is being quizzed, being asked. Let's see if you all have memorized this. Okay, so what is the symbol called that sounds like the English A? Ah. It's a line written above a letter. What's that called? What is that line that's written above a letter? Sounds like the English A, ah, like in path, ah. What is that called? That is called the fatha. Called the fatha. Very good. What is the symbol that's written beneath a letter? The line that's written beneath a letter, what's that called? It sounds like the English I, like eh, eh. What's that one called? That is called the kesra. The kesra. It's a line written underneath. Kesra. Very good. And the last one, it's like a loop written above it. It sounds like the letter U. Ooh, ooh. What's that called? That is called the, there's a slight delay, so that is called the dhamma. Dhamma. It's called a dhamma. What are these 3 symbols called? What are these 3 symbols called? What's the Arabic word? What do we refer to them as? We said there's the fatha, the kasra, and the dhamma. What are they called? Starts with an H. Harakat. Harakat. Harakat, or tashkil, somebody said. Harakat. Very good. All right. So we learned that this is the letter ba, sounds like B. We learned the harakat, the fatha, a, kasra, dhamma, u. And now we exercise. See how short this lesson is? It's very simple. You just memorize which symbols represent which sounds. That's all you have to do. And then you just practice. Exercise 1. Practice pronouncing the letter ba with each haraka. Write down the correct pronunciation using English letters beneath each example. The first row has been completed for you. Okay, so we skipped the intro. In the intro, I explained a few things such as, we go from right to left in Arabic. But I'm sure many of you already are aware of that. But, this is designed for the student to be able to do this on their own. So, for example, this whole program, it was developed when I was teaching at the Islamic school, and I had certain students that were new. They didn't know how to read. I had others that were fluent in reading. So I was able to give these exercises to the students to do. Then I could check them. So this is why this is set up the way that it is. It's set up so that you can write the answer underneath. However, if you're a parent, if you're a teacher, you don't necessarily have to have them write it out. You can just point to it and have them, pronounce it for you. So the point is that we just want to know which symbols represent which sounds and then practice. So as you can see here, we'll do this. So you start from here because Arabic is from right to left. So I have this arrow pointing from right to left to let you realize that. But when we write the English underneath, we keep it left to right so that we maintain the rules of each language. Anyways, it's pretty simple. So all that you're going to do is first you're going to look at the letter. Okay, which letter is this? This is the letter ba. Then after you know that it's the letter ba, you're going to write a B for the letter ba. And then you're going to look at the haraka. Which haraka is this? Who can tell me in the chat? Which haraka is this? And what sound does it make? We have the letter ba with a particular haraka above the ba. Which haraka is it? And which sound does it make? It is the fatha, and it sounds like ah. Very good. It's the fatha, and it sounds like ah. So, very simple. You write the B for the letter ba, and you write an A for the fatha. So, how would you read this? How would you pronounce this? Ba. Just like in English, you would pronounce this as ba. Very simple. And then we just go through the exercises. Here we have, well, the only letter that we've learned thus far is the letter ba. So every single letter here is the letter ba. So for every single letter, you're going to write a B for the letter ba. So we're not focusing so much on the letter ba, although this is helping solidify that in your mind, but we're mainly focusing on the harakat. We're mainly focusing on the fatha, the kasra, and the dhamma. So we know that this is the fatha, sounds like a. We put an A there. This one, what's this one called? A line that's written underneath. What's that called and what sound does that make? We put a B for the letter ba, and then we look at the symbol. We look at the haraka, and that haraka is the kasra. What sound does the kasra make? Kasra makes the sound like the letter I, B. So you put a B for the ba, you put an I for the kasra, and it becomes B. And then we're going to do this last one, and then I'm going to quiz you guys on the rest. I don't have the answers, okay? So first, obviously, we put a B for the letter ba. Then we look at this haraka, which is written above. It's a loop written above. Maybe I should zoom in. Yeah, that's better. Okay. So we have the letter ba here. We write a B. And then we have this loop symbol here. Which haraka is that? What's it called? And what sound does it represent? This is the letter ba, sounds like B, and then this harakat is a dhamma, which sounds like the letter U, oo. So together it's boo, boo. Okay. Now let's go to the exercises. I'm going to zoom in. Yeah, there we go. All right. Let's do this one. Well, we just did that one. let's do this one. Just write in the chat. Write the answer in the chat. Okay. What would we write underneath? What is the English transliteration for this letter and this sound? First, you're going to look at the letter. We know that this is the letter ba. So we're going to write a B. Then we're going to look at the harakat. We see this is a line underneath, which is called a kesra. You said it represents the I sound. So we would write B-I. So it would be B, B, B. Very good. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yes, it would be B. Okay. What about this one? Write down the answer in the chat. This one is called a fatha. We got the letter ba with a fatha. Ba. Ba. Very good. What about this one? We got the letter ba with a dhamma. Ba without dhamma. How would we pronounce this? We would write a B for the letter ba, of course. But what about the haraka? What about the dhamma? It would be boo. Boo. Very good. Boo. Excellent. All right. I think you guys got that. And if you go through the whole exercise, obviously you're going to go through, you get used to it. Boo, ba, bib, boo, bib, ba, boo, ba, right? You can go fast, inshallah, because you'll start being able to read it. The next lesson, this is basically the last lesson for the related to the harakat, but it's an important lesson. And then we start getting into all of the letters connecting and everything. So lesson 2, in this lesson, we learn a concept called Tanween, which refers to the same harakat being written twice on the same letter. This has a grammatical significance that we will learn in the future, inshallah. The only difference between reading these harakat written once versus twice is that when they are written twice with Tanween, we add an N sound at the end. Note, Tanween only comes at the end of a word. Okay, so if that sounded confusing, it's going to become very apparent once we look at the examples. Okay, so we already learned this top row. We already learned this in the previous lesson. Okay, if there's one fatha above a letter, it sounds like a. If there's one kasra beneath a letter, it sounds like I. If there's one dhamma above a letter, it sounds like u. However, if there's two, what do? We add the N at the end. That's it. Very simple, right? Very simple, very straightforward. So with two fathas, you write an A for the first fatha and N for the second fatha. You write an I for the first kasra and N for the second kasra. You write a U for the first dhamma. You write an N for the second dhamma. And one thing about the dhamma is that when it has tanween, we write it. You can write it either way, but throughout this book, we use this. There's that little squiggle at the end that differentiates it. So you see, it's a bit subtle, but you can tell the difference, inshallah. This is one dhamma, and then this is two dhammas, okay? Or it can be written like that. And what do? You just add an N at the end, all right? So let's see if everyone is following along. All right, so if there are two of the same haraka written above or beneath a letter, what is that called? What is that called? It starts with a T. What is that called? Two of the same haraka written above or beneath a letter. If a word ends with two fathas or two kasras or two dhammos, what's that called? Starts with a T. What is that called? It's called Tanween. Excellent. It's called Tanween. All right, so you are going to write the sound of the harakat as it normally is for the first harakat. But what about that second harakat? What about what letter, what sound do we put at the end when something has tanween? Right? So for example, if there's one fatha, we're going to write an A for a. But if there's two fathas, if it has tanween, we're going to write an A for the first fatha, and then we're going to write what letter for the second one? What sound? The sound that we are going to write is N. Excellent. N. Very good. So a becomes N, I becomes in, U becomes un. You just add an N at the end. It's very simple, right? It just takes practice. It takes practice. So let's put this back on the screen. Exercise 2. Practice pronouncing the letter ba, this is the letter ba, with tanween. Write down the correct pronunciation beneath each example. The first row has been completed for you. So this is very simple. If this is too easy for you, just wait till we proceed because it starts getting more compounded very quickly. All right, so here, pretty simple, right? Straightforward. This is the letter ba. You're going to write a B for the letter ba. This has two of which harakat? This has two of which harakat? Tell me in the chat. Okay, if you don't get it, inshallah, you will get it once we explain. It's much easier to actually see it in action and understand it with examples than it is to just read it. So first we read it, and then we show you examples, and inshallah, you'll get it. And we'll keep explaining until you get it. So it's really, I wish I had a board that I could write on because there's basically like a process. Let me see if this will work. So there's basically an order by which you're going to be viewing these exercises, right? So for example, this is the letter ba, okay? So this is step 1. So I'm going to go through this real quick, but just take it one step at a time. So this is the letter ba. You see where that is? That's going to be the first step. So that's going to be the first step, and you're going to write a B for the letter ba. You're going to write a B for the letter ba. Then above the ba, you see this symbol here, okay? You see this symbol here. It's 2 lines above it. Okay, in the previous lesson, we learned that one of those is called a fatha. Very good. One of those is called a fatha. Well, they're both fathas, but we learned in the previous lesson that one line above a letter is called a fatha. In this lesson, we're learning that if there's 2, this is called tanween. And whereas the first symbol that we learned in the last episode, it represents the letter A, the sound A. We're going to write an A. That second one is going to sound like an N. Okay, so ba becomes ben. Let me just show you. So this is pronounced ba, but if we write another fatha, it becomes ben. Very simple, inshallah. Please let me know if that makes sense. You write a B for the letter ba. You write an A for the fatha. Then if there's another fatha, we write an N for the second fatha. And that's called tanween when there's 2. Simple? Alhamdulillah. Allahumma barak. May Allah bless all of you. Okay. So that's it. That's it. And we're moving fast today. Usually, you do maybe one lesson a day, one lesson at a time. You go through the whole exercise. We're speeding through it. All right. So let's go to the next example. All right. This is the letter ba. Of course, we've only learned one letter. This is the letter ba. It sounds like B. We're going to write a B. All right. Now this has 2 of the same harakat. Which harakat? Which harakat? Which harakat is written beneath, a line written beneath? A line written beneath the letter is called a kesra. A kesra. Okay. And the kesra, it sounds like the letter I. We're using the I to represent the sound of the kesra. So a B is written for the letter ba, an I is written for the kesra. And because we have two kesras, what do we write? What do we write at the end for that second kesra? This is called Tanween. When it ends like this, the second kesra, it sounds like the letter N. So if it's just a ba and a kesra, it's bi. But when there's a ba and two kesras, it's bin. You add that N at the end. Bin. Okay? And this becomes very apparent when you go through the exercise because it's very easy with the student because you're going to write the answer. So you'll bring me the paper, or if I ask you in person, or here if I can ask you in the chat, what's the answer? I can see if you understood it or not. And inshallah, once you go through it, it's pretty simple. Let's do a couple exercises. Let me know if anyone is having difficulty with this. We'll explain further, but inshallah, it should be hopefully understood. Just write the answer in the chat. Okay. What sound does this make? How are you going to pronounce this? Again, there's steps, right? For the first step is looking at the letter. That's always the first step. You're going to look at the letter. This is the letter ba. So you're going to write a B for the letter ba. Then you're going to look at the harakat. What symbol is above or below it? We see that there is not one, but two fathas. The first fatha, it sounds like the letter A. The second fatha, we're going to write an N. So it's going to be very good. Everyone got it. It looks like ban, right? Ban. Excellent. We'll do one more. What about this one? What's the answer to this? Again, you look at the letter. This is the letter ba. You're going to write a B. Then you look at the harakat. Now, this is a dhamma, but we also learned that when there's that squiggle at the end, when the end of the dhamma comes up and it's bent like that, that represents two. That represents two dhammas, meaning it has tanween. So you'd write B for the letter ba, you'd write U for the first dhamma, and then you would write N for the second dhamma, which is called tanween. So the correct answer would be bun. Bun. Excellent. Any questions? Let me know if you'd like to do more, but I think everyone has this. Basically, just to summarize, lesson 1 and 2, we're just using the letter ba. We've only learned one letter so far, but we learned 3 harakat. Okay, we learned 3 harakas. We learned the fatha, the kasra, and the dhamma. All right, they represent vowel signs and they're written above or below the letter. Okay, fatha sounds like a, kasra sounds like I, dhamma sounds like u. So that's all that we practiced in the first lesson. In the second lesson, we learned a concept called tanween. This has grammatical significance that you'll learn later, inshallah. But we just learned that when there's two, you just write an N at the end. That's it. So that's simple enough. If you understood the first lesson, then the second lesson is simple, inshallah. You just got to understand, oh, when there's two, it's called tanween, and you write an N at the end. Now, lesson 3, this is when we start really hitting the ground running. Now we're really going to start learning how to read because you're going to start learning the different letters. Okay? So this might take more time. This might take more practice, but this is how you really start learning, inshallah, how to read because you need to learn the letters. Okay, so lesson 3. In this lesson, we learn 3 letters. So Arabic is written in cursive. Therefore, a letter may look slightly different depending on whether or not it is attached to another letter. There are 4 possible ways a letter may be written. All right. So number 1, it might be written alone. So this is the letter ba. We already learned this. We already learned what the letter ba looks like when it's written alone. That's what lesson 1 and lesson 2 used, was the letter ba written alone. But also, it can begin a connection because remember, this is cursive, so the letters connect. All right. So when it begins a connection, you can see here what the letter ba looks like. Let me zoom in. Oh, and we highlighted in red exactly what we're trying to talk about. So this is how it looks alone. It looks a certain way. Then when it's beginning a connection, you can see this is what it looks like. So, I mean, it looks pretty much the same, right? It's not some sort of like completely different shape or anything like that. It looks very similar. It has one dot underneath it, but it doesn't look exactly like this, right? So you need to be aware of that. So alone, beginning a connection, and then also sometimes it'll be in the middle of a connection. Okay, so there will be two letters, one before it and one after it. So here we can see how it looks when it's in the middle of a connection. All right, and it looks slightly different. But I mean, the main feature that it has is it has that one dot underneath it. Okay, there's kind of like a bowl shape, kind of like a U shape, and there's a dot underneath it, right? And then also, you need to know what it looks like at the end of a connection. So there might be a letter before it, but not a letter after it. And you can see it looks similar to how it did when it was by itself. So this isn't something that's like mind-blowingly complicated. It's pretty simple and straightforward. However, it's important for you to understand that Arabic is written in cursive. The letters connect. So when you're writing in cursive, even in English, it's going to look a little bit different depending on how it connects to a letter before it or after it, or if it's written by itself. Same thing with Arabic. So all you need to know when you really want to understand a letter in all of its forms, you're going to have to understand what it looks like alone, in the beginning of a connection, a middle of a connection, and the end of a connection. So every letter that we teach you, that's what we're going to show you. Okay? Every letter that we teach you, that's what we're going to show you. And these are the charts that we use. So the following chart shows each letter written each way. Remember, Arabic is written from right to left. That's something I keep reminding you because it takes time to get used to it, right? Okay, so the first letter we learn is the letter ba. And what sound does it make? It sounds like the English B. So we use a B to represent the sound of the ba. And then we have 4 different versions of it. We have how it looks when it's written alone. And then we have how it looks when it's in the beginning of a connection, middle of a connection, and end of a connection. And what we do throughout this book is we use red and black interchanging colors for each letter so that you can really tell the difference, okay? It's obviously going to be it's going to take a bit more skill and practice for you to read it if it's all just the same color, because you might not really be able to differentiate when one letter ends and another begins just yet, but we make it easy for you in this book, inshallah. So it goes black, red, black, red. So we have in black, the beginning of a connection, in red, the middle of a connection, and in black again, the middle or the end of a connection, right? Simple enough, inshallah. I'm going through it very slowly, but inshallah, it's so that you can really understand. And then we have the letter ta, the letter ta. The letter ta, it sounds like the English T. So when we see a ta, we're going to write a T underneath to represent that sound. Okay? Now, the letter ta, here's what it looks like alone. As we can see, it looks similar to the ba, except instead of one dot underneath, it has 2 dots above it. Okay, it looks kind of like a smiley face. That is the letter ta. Then we show you what it looks like in the beginning, middle, and end of a connection. So again, it differentiates from the ba due to the dots written above it. The ba has 1 dot beneath, the ta has 2 dots above. Then we have the letter tha, and it sounds like th. Okay, when we put th together in English, it makes that th sound. So that is the letter tha. And again, it looks just like the letter ta, except it has 3 dots. All right, it has 3 dots. And then we look at how it looks when it's alone versus when it's in the beginning, middle, or end of a connection. And really all of these letters, and there's a reason why we're teaching these 3 letters together. It's because they all look the same, except you got to pay attention to where the dot is and how many dots there are. Okay? Takes a little bit of practice. Okay, so exercise 3, this is where you start testing yourself to see if you comprehended it. And of course, if you have the book, you can always look at the table above and remind yourself. All right, exercise 3. Practice pronouncing the letters in harakat. Write down the correct pronunciation beneath each example. Remember, Arabic is written from right to left, but the English transliteration is written from left to right. So let's look at this example here. I'm going to need your help in the chat. Let me know if you understand. So here is the example, right? This is the first example. We have 3 letters. Again, you can tell because the letters are going to go black, red, black. It's always going to rotate. So the first letter we have here has 1 dot underneath it. So which letter is this? Which letter has 1 dot underneath it? That would be the letter ba. So what would we do? We would write a B for that first ba. Then after you look at the letter, you look at the harakat. Which harakat is this? Which harakat is one line written above the letter? That's called a fatha. It sounds like A. So we would write an A for the fatha. And that's all we're doing. We're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we're looking at the letter, the symbol, the letter, the symbol, the letter, the symbol, and we're writing down each sound. Okay? The second letter is in red. Which letter is this? Which letter has the 1 dot underneath it? Of course, you can always look up at the chart. It is the ba, right? So if you memorize this chart, you'll know, oh, that is the ba. Okay? So what do? You write a B for the letter ba. Then you look at the symbol. What symbol is this? This is the kesra. Kesra sounds like like the I. So we write an I for the kesra. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we go to the fifth symbol, the fifth letter, or it's really the third letter. But, in terms of the sequence, what we're looking at and writing down, this is the fifth, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, this is what? This is the last letter. This is also a ba. We can tell because of the dot underneath. So we write a B for the letter ba. And then this is a dhamma. Sounds like you, oo. So if we read this, it would be ba, bi, boo. Ba, bi, boo. And we can see that by the English, that's exactly what we wrote. We wrote ba, bi, boo. So I know this is, I hope that wasn't too slow, but, it's pretty simple and straightforward. And that's all that it takes to learn how to read Arabic. Okay, I take you one letter at a time, one symbol at a time. I give you exercises so that you can practice. And then it is going to get more challenging because over time, everything's going to come together, right? Over time, there's going to be a bunch of letters and you're going to have to be able to remember what they sound like and try to do it fluently. So the same for the ta, same for the tha. Okay, ba, ta, tha. I give you these different examples. So without further ado, let's just go to the exercises, inshallah. Hopefully this isn't too quick, but as you can see, like even at the end, I start putting 4 together. Okay, I start putting 4 together and I start putting Tanween, so I do start off slow, but it gets more and more complicated as we build. Let's go. See how you guys do with this one. Let me know if I'm going too fast, but here we can see that there are 4 letters. We can see that because there's black, red, black, red. Okay, so there's 4 letters and we read from right to left. We look at the letter and then the harakat, the letter and then the harakat, the letter, the harakat, the letter, the harakat, and then we just transliterate. We just write the English sound underneath it. All right. So who can do this for me? Take your time. Who can do this one for me? You're going to look at each letter. So start looking at this. Which letter is that? Which one has the U shape with 1 dot underneath it? It's the letter ba. So you write a B. Which harakat has 1 line underneath it? That's the kesra. What sound does it make? Letter I. So you take it one at a time. Then you go to the next letter. Yeah, so 1 letter at a time we can do it. So that's B, right? The first letter is B. All right, so it looks like somebody got it. Let's see. Whoops. Yes, kesra. So it's the ba, the kesra, but if we look at the whole thing, we have B, right? Thu, Ba-tin. Bi-thu-ba-tin. Okay? Now, this isn't a real word. Obviously, we're not trying to learn words yet. We're just trying to make sure that we can read. So that's all that you do. And I give you exactly the transliteration, and we can be consistent. You know, if you go through the book, I give you a certain transliteration that you can use. Yes, very good. It's bi, right? We got the letter ba with the kesra, so that's bi. We got the letter tha, that's th. The dhamma, that's a u, so it's bi thu. Letter ba with the fatha, that's ba. Then we have the letter ta with tanween kesra. Okay, we have two kesras. That's in, tin. So bi thu ba tin. All right, this might be too fast for some of you, but this is all that we do. Okay, and I take it much slower than that. As you'll see, I do it one letter at a time. So this whole row is just the letter ba. This whole row is just the letter ta. This whole row is just the letter tha. Excuse me. But then we start mixing it up. We start putting the ba and the tha and the ta together, and we different orders and different harakat. And there's 4. So, and this is all we do throughout the entire book. All we do throughout the entire book. So we don't want to do too much, but I think we'll end with lesson 4. We'll end with lesson 4. We learned 3 more letters. Okay. You don't want to bite off more than you can chew. You don't want to do too much too fast, but this is just more so to show you like this is something that you can learn. Inshallah, with these resources, you just have to go through these exercises. It's as simple as that. Okay. So lesson 4. In this lesson, we learn 3 more letters. Okay, and I number as we go through all the letters, which we're at. So this is the letter Jim. Okay, it sounds similar to the English J, Jim, right? This is how it looks alone. So this is an interesting shape. I'm not even sure how exactly to describe that. It looks kind of like an ocean wave on the top, and it loops down. And there's 1 dot underneath. This is how it looks alone. This is the letter Jim. We're going to write a J when we see the letter Jim. And this is how it looks when it is in the beginning, middle, and end of a connection. Okay, so it's a different initial shape. However, it has that dot underneath each. And all of these 3 shapes, all of these 3 letters, you'll see they all have that same shape. It's just a matter of the dots. Okay, it's just a matter of the dots. So next we have the letter ha. Okay, the letter ha, it sounds like a sharp H. Okay, it's not exactly like the English, but it's sharp. Ha. Sounds like a sharp H. And it's important because these distinctions matter, especially when we start learning other letters that might, sound similar to an H, but it's not sharp. Okay. So this is the letter ha, and this is how it looks alone. And then this is how it looks in the beginning, middle, and end of a connection. Again, it looks just like the Jim, except the Jim has a dot underneath. The ha doesn't have a dot. Then we have the letter kha. Kha. Okay. It sounds like a KH, like a kha. Okay. So the letter kha, this is how it's written alone. And this is how it's written in the beginning, middle, and end of a connection. Now, what's different regarding this letter is it has a dot above. Okay. So these are just 3 more letters. This is how they sound. This is how they look. You just need to memorize that. It's as simple as that. And if we go to the exercise, you're going to start seeing how each lesson builds upon one another, because I'm going to bring you exercises using these letters, but then in the end, I'm going to start bringing forth the letters that we learned previously. So it builds quickly. They're short lessons, but they build quickly. You have to make sure you solidify the lesson as you go on. So let's go straight to this here, okay? Who can write the answer for this? How would you read this? Using the English sounds, how would you write this? We have 3 letters. We can tell because it's black, red, black. Each letter has a harakat, either written above or beneath it. So all you do is you look at the letter, you write the sound of the letter. You look at the harakat, you write the sound of the harakat. Then you go to the next. That's all that you do. And eventually, inshallah, you're not going to have to connect it to any English letters. You're not going to have to write it or anything. You're just going to be able to read it in Arabic, inshallah. And then when you get really good, you can even move on to like really learning exactly how you're supposed to properly pronounce everything. It's like proper tajweed. So this would be very good. Ju-jit-ja. Ju-jit-ja. Very good. Ju-jit-ja. Okay. So you have the letter Jim, sounds like J. You have a Dhamma, sounds like U. You have another Jim, J, Kesra, I, Jim, J, Fatha, A. Ju-jit-ja. Ju-jit-ja. See, pretty simple, right? All right. This has all three of the new letters we learned in this lesson. I'm sure this is too fast for those of you who might be learning this for the first time. But of course, you can take your time. And really, if you're going to learn, if you're going to be a student, you have to do a lot of studying on your own time. So what would be the answer for this one? Again, it's three letters. You got black, red, black. So you can look at the first letter. Now, all three of these letters, they have that same shape. It's like an ocean wave, but does it have a dot or not? Is the dot above or below? And depending on all these details, what sound does it represent? So we have, there we go. Kha, he, jun. Kha, he, jun. So we have a KH for the kha. We have an A for the fatha. Kha. Next letter. This is the letter ha. We have an H for the ha. We have an I for the kasra. Kha, he. Then the third letter, this is the letter Jim, sounds like J. We have a J for the Jim. And then we have not one, but two dhammas. Okay, this is Tanween because it has that squiggle at the end that comes up and bends over. So that is a U for the first dhamma and an N for the Tanween, Jun. Okay, so it's Kha, He, Jun. And all that you do is you go through each exercise, and this is it. This is basically, you go through all these exercises, you'll know how to read Arabic. It's as simple as that. As you'll see, in the next lesson, we learn two more letters. They look similar, except the dots, they represent different sounds. There's like an S and C, the scene. It's like a sh, SH, the sheen. And you do exercises, and we bring back the past letters. And this is another symbol that you learn. It just shows that there's not a harakat on it. And then another symbol shows a double letter. But then you keep going through learning letters. That's it. That's it. You go through 20 exercises, and then you're done. Then you know how to read Arabic. That's it. Okay, this is 20 lessons, 23 pages. And that's it. So if you want to purchase the book, if you look in the description, inshallah, there should be a link. If you want a hard copy of this, you can order it from Amazon. The PDF is available on the website. Let's see. Yes, courses.ilmstitute.com. If you go to this website and you register, it's $20 a month. If you can't afford that, then you can fill out the financial aid form. And this, you can download the PDF, and there are videos where I'm going through each lesson. So the book is there, the resources are there, the videos are there. It really is, inshallah, just a matter of you all, if you find it beneficial and you really want to learn how to read, go through the exercises. Simple as that, inshallah. Yeah, so if you look at the wa alaikum salam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, there should be a link in the description, an Amazon link, or if you just go to amazon.com and you type in my name, Sajid Lipum, this book should come up and you should be able to order it. So Amazon does the shipping. So if Amazon ships to Malaysia, then inshallah, hopefully they will. But there is the PDF. If you want the PDF, then you can get the PDF on Ilmstitute when you join. Okay, so it's $20 a month to join, and you get access to a bunch of different classes. You get access to Telegram groups. And if you can't afford it, just fill out the financial aid form. Okay, If you can afford it, then, your subscription, it literally helps us record videos like this. Or if you cannot afford it, you're not going to be prevented from learning because you genuinely cannot afford it. So you just fill out the financial aid form. Let me pull up the website to show everyone. This is the website. This is the website, Institute Academy. And so this is the course that we're going over right now. As you can see here, once you join and you get access to the module, the course materials, is you have the course book PDF. You also have access to the Telegram group. The Telegram group, you can ask me directly. You can post your exercises if you do the work, and we'll check them for you and we can answer any questions. But then other than that, it's just a bunch of pre-recorded videos. So we have every single lesson, including the intro. We have videos. They're all up. You get instant access. Basically, you just, let's say you click access course now. This is the membership, $20 a month or $215 a year. And you get access to everything. Okay, you get access to volume 2 and volume 3, which I also teach. You get access to Al-Ajurumiyya with Muhammad James, which he is currently teaching. You get access to all these different courses. And you get access to the Telegram groups. And if you can't afford it, just click the financial aid link and you can fill out this financial aid form. And that's pretty much it, inshallah. Let me see if, and you can purchase the book on Amazon if you want a physical copy. But like I said, the PDF is included in the membership. And that's pretty much it. Thank you, everyone. May Allah make it easy for all of you. May Allah make it easy for all of us. Once you learn how to read, then I have volume 2, which is also completed. This is Institute Arabic volume 2. Basically, this teaches you how to read. And then once you know how to read, we start learning vocabulary and grammar. So those letters come together to form words. Those words come together to form sentences. And this is finished. This is complete. All the videos are also up on Institute Academy. You can also order this from Amazon. So if somebody already knows how to read, then this would be the next step. And then I'm currently in the process of writing and recording volume 3, which is morphology. That's when we start really getting into the nuances of words. And then I already have volume 4 planned out where I get into more specifics. But if this method of teaching works for you, then this is how I teach everything. I teach it very short lessons. Then instantly we have exercises. We quiz you. You have workbooks. And we build one lesson to the next. Simple, easy. Jazakumullahu khairan, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. And I guess that does it for this video. And, your support is very much appreciated. If you like the videos, you appreciate what you're doing. We appreciate the support. It helps us continue doing it. So if you want to join on Patreon, then that helps us have the time and ability to author these books. What we really want to do is we want to have a whole curriculum. So we're taking it one step at a time. We have volume 1, we have volume 2. I'm doing volume 3. I want there to be volume 4, 5, 6, and not just Arabic, but also Islamic studies. Also when it comes to Aqidah, when it comes to tafsir, when it comes to hadith, like we want to have, all of this. And we're also trying to establish an Islamic school. So that's something you all have been very supportive regarding. Jazakumullahu khairan. We have over $300,000 raised right now. We want to purchase a building. So all of this, it's all working towards a bigger purpose, which is really, trying to leave a legacy, inshallah, for our children, for the following generations to, have schools to go to where they can implement Islam, where they can learn Islam, and where we have curriculum where they can learn it in a way that is easy and beneficial for them. So that's really what we're working toward. That's what our main focus is. And, not only our children, our Muslim children, but new Muslims, adult Muslims, once we have a whole curriculum, then you can basically get in where you fit in. If you already know how to read, you can just skip to volume 2. If you already have a good foundation in Arabic grammar, then maybe you could skip to volume 3 or 4. That's what we want to really do, is we want to help people learn the religion. So we ask that Allah bless us. We ask that Allah accept from us, give us ikhlas. And thank you, everyone. And that does it for this live stream, inshallah. Hopefully we can do this more often. Till next time, jazakallahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.